Sam Medina here with another great video today. I'm going to talk about 5 symptoms of procrastination. I know that myself, people have called me a procrastinator back in the days. I know probably someone has called you a procrastinator, or you probably called someone else a procrastinator. Well, what exactly does that mean? I mean, I'm pretty sure we know it means like laziness, or you say you're going to do something but you don't do it. But how do we identify the symptoms to know if we're actually procrastinators? And how do we reverse those symptoms and say, you know what, I'm not gonna carry these symptoms anymore. I'm not gonna allow these bad habits to allow me to procrastinate, because I need to go ahead and start moving forward. So let's get right into it. 5 symptoms of procrastination. Number 1 is lack of vision. And so why is vision so important? And why does vision and procrastination, why are they on the same? Why are they in the same video? Is because vision is very important. If you stop and look around you today, even your phone started off with a vision. Someone had a vision, someone had an idea, and someone had a burning desire to make that vision become a reality. And so you have a phone today. Everything around you, cars, the desk, the computer, the clothes, everything started with the vision. So vision is very important to take take yourself to the next level. So how do you come up with the vision to take yourself to the next level? Well, you got to ask yourself some serious questions. You got to ask yourself, what do I really want? Why do I really want this? And once you figure out why you really want it, why it means that much to you, it's gonna start to create like a burning desire inside of you. And that's gonna start to create self-motivation, in which once you discover self-motivation, it's very, very powerful, and it gets you going every day non-stop. And so that's what lack of vision. So identify your why. So how do you identify your why? I'm gonna give you an example here. So let's say, for example, I want to lose 15 pounds or 20 pounds because I'm overweight. Okay. Why do you want to lose that? Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, because I'm overweight. No, but by losing 20 pounds, what is really going to change in your life? Why is it going to change so much things in your life? And it gets you to start to think. And you're like, you know what? If I was to lose 20 pounds, it'll change the family cycle. That, my parents were obese. My parents had health problems. My parents had diabetes. And you're going to be the one that changes that cycle in your family history. And now it's going to carry on to your kids. So your kids are going to have a healthier lifestyle because you're making the decision. You had the vision of breaking this cycle, and you stuck to it, and it changed the pattern in your life. For example, if you want to open a business, say, you know what, in 5 years I want to open a business. This is my business. The sign's going to be purple. I'm going to have 10 employees. When I walk in, my desk is gonna be over here. I'm gonna have a area here for coffee and water for my customers. That's a vision. And so you start to kind of plan your vision out. You share your vision with other creative people, and it gets you motivated. Okay, why do you want to open a business so bad? Because no one in my family ever graduated. No one in my family ever thought that it was possible to own a business, and I want to be the first one to own a business, to change that cycle, to show my kids, kids that anything is possible. If you want to open a business, it's possible. If you want to get a college degree and a doctorate degree, it's possible. So vision is very important. Number 2 is lack of time. We hear this excuse a lot. I don't have time. I'm just too tired to do that. I don't have time to go over there. Well, what's taking up your time? Because everybody has the same amount of time in the day. And I've heard it many times. I heard one of my buddies, he's a single guy, and he's like, man, I don't have time to do anything. I go to work and I go home, and I was like, well, what, like, you don't have no kids, you don't have, like, why don't you have time? I don't know. I said, well, what do you do? Like, what's some of your hobbies? Oh, I play video games. I like going out. And I said, well, how often do you do this stuff? He's like, well, pretty regularly. And I was like, well, maybe that's what's killing your time, because going out, staying up late, eating like bad food, it's really gonna throw you off track. It's really gonna take a lot of your time. So Track your time, see what's wasting your time. It could be cable TV, on the internet for long hours of time. I would say pornography. If you're watching porn, like, hey, that could take up a lot of your time. Going out, spending time with people that waste your time. Being in bars every night. All that stuff is killing your time. Video games, just all that. Just figure out what's wasting your time and try to cut it. Try to cut it. Okay, number 3 is lack of organization. So I can admit I was very, very unorganized. Whenever I decided to take bigger steps in life, and I realized that organization is gonna have to be a part of my lifestyle if I want to start to achieve bigger things. Because as you start to grow in business, you have files and you have important documents that they need to be in certain places so that you have access to them when you need them. If everything's all over the place, it's gonna show that you're a lousy businessman. It's gonna show that you're not probably on top of your game, and it could affect you. One thing that you can do is you can actually ask someone to help. Ask someone that you see that's very organized. Say, hey, can you start to help me organize? What will happen eventually, it'll start to become a habit of you just being organized, and you'll see how it starts to benefit you. Once you start to see the improvements of being organized, you're going to want to be more and more organized. So one book I can suggest is called The One Thing by Keller Williams. And on The One Thing, it describes that we're not multitaskers. So the term multitasking is actually a computer term. So whenever you're on your desktop and you have multiple windows open, that's multitasking. Your computer is multitasking, but your brains are not wired to multitask. Okay. Yes, we still say we're multitaskers. Yes, we're like, I'm a multitasker. We use that phrase a lot. But in reality, what happens is, like, if you're a technician or if you have multiple projects going on, whatever industry you're in, every time you jump from one project to the other, it actually takes up 30 to 45 minutes to kind of for your mind to remember where exactly you left off, and for you to get back engaged in that project. So if you have several big projects that you're working on, sometimes it can be very risky for you to be jumping around. The best thing you can do is actually step up as a manager, as an owner, or just as an individual, and maybe delegate some of those tasks to other people, so you're not having to try to remember everything. Another good thing you can try, another good exercise is get a legal notepad. It's gonna be a yellow legal notepad, and write on there, write your notes with the red pen. And by doing this, you're not gonna have to try to store so much information. You're gonna be able to have to go to these notes and know exactly where you left off, or something that when you see it, you're gonna remember. So that's gonna be a very powerful tool. I used to use that a lot whenever I started to get really organized and really started to. I had a bunch of stuff going on that I needed to get done, priority stuff, and I was very bad about forgetting stuff. So I said, you know what? Let me try this exercise, and I tried it. It worked for me great because it was something different. My eyes were always focused to it. That's why you see like these Post-its this color, is because they're to alert you to remember. So if you have a legal pad that's yellow with red pen, you're gonna be on top of your game. Okay, so number 4 is tiredness. So tiredness has to do with a lot with what we eat, drink, and sleep. I know that I've heard some people use the term, hey, I don't need no sleep. I'm a grind 24/7. I don't stop. They kind of like, well, that's false information. Like if someone says that they don't have to sleep, they're not functioning at 100%, because your mind is not thinking as sharp, and so you're not making you're not making the best decisions. We've all heard someone say, you know what, let me sleep on it, give me some time to process it. Is because usually if your body's tired, if you haven't had enough sleep, or if you have a poor diet, or you feel dehydrated, you're not gonna make the best decisions. So you start to make lousy decisions because you're lacking the basic needs, the food, the sleep, and the water. One thing I can say about the water is make sure that you're drinking, some good water. And what I mean by that is like, nowadays on the back of water bottles, you can actually see the source of where that water is from. So look on the source. Sometimes the source will say municipal water system. What that means is that water is just from another city and someone just filtered it. Okay, it still probably has the chlorine and it doesn't have all the minerals that you need from like spring water or like alkaline water. So start to educate yourself on the different kind of waters, because the different kind of waters carry different pH levels, and the pH level is what keeps your body really hydrated. Sleep. Figure out what your sleep is. One thing that you can do, a good sleep exercise, is prepare yourself an hour before you sleep. If you go to bed at, say you go to bed at 12 o'clock, okay? Start preparing yourself at 11 o'clock to go to bed. And what I mean by that is avoid any TV, avoid any news, avoid any social media. Just put yourself at a relaxed state. Maybe even write notes for the day ahead of what you got to do, so that you don't go to bed in like this panic state, not being able to sleep, and you're thinking about work, and you're just, because you're trying to remember what you got to do in the morning, so you don't get a good sleep. Another thing too is drink a lot of water before you go to bed. Whenever you go to sleep, your body can tend to get dehydrated if you don't have a lot of water. So drink a lot of water before you go to bed, and it'll really keep you hydrated. Food, just make sure you're getting like a balanced diet. I mean, everybody, I can't really tell you what to eat, but just I tell you, fried foods and sugars is really gonna set you back as far as like your energy levels. One thing about sugar, that sugar actually releases dopamine. Okay, so whenever we've all heard the phrase like, don't give a kid sugar because they're gonna get hyper. Well, in reality, what happens is whenever a kid eats sugar, it releases dopamine in the brain. And dopamine, what it does, it actually, you have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, okay? Conscious mind is like what's going on in reality in front of you. Subconscious mind is like your memory. So these two communicate. Like, for example, when you tie your shoes, that's in your subconscious mind. Because you already know how to do it, so you don't have to think about it, okay? But whenever you eat a lot of sugar, and whenever your body is filled with sugar, you're releasing dopamine, and so it's not communicating correctly. So your thought process is not going to be as sharp. So avoid a lot of sugar if you can. That'll kind of get you a little bit sharper on your thinking. Number five is pretty big. Number 5 is fear. Fear will really, really kill you if you allow it to sink in and get in your mind. And I always like to use this example for the brain. Okay, your brain is just like a garden. Okay, your brain is like a garden. If you allow negative seeds to be planted in your garden, if you allow fear to be planted in your garden, it's gonna start to create weeds. And we don't want weeds in a garden. Okay, so you got to avoid fear and negativity in your mind, because it's gonna really start to screw you up as far as your thinking. Okay, so how does fear work? Okay, so let's say you want to open a business. You tell your friends, "Hey man, I want to open a business," and they're like, "Man, I don't think that's a good idea, dude. You don't really look like a business guy. You know how much money that's gonna cost? You need to have really good credit to open a business. Man, having a business in this city is gonna be hard for you because you don't know anybody." That's all that they're just letting out the fear, okay? And most time people that I guess, what's the right word I can use for this? People that express a lot of fear are usually people that gave up on some of their goals and some of their dreams. So you got to be cautious about that. When someone says, "Oh, you can't do that," or that's because they might have given up on their life. And so you want to kind of avoid people like that, okay? So avoid fear, because once you let fear sink in, then you start to procrastinate, and you never do anything, because you're scared, you procrastinate, and then once that cycle starts to sink in, it's very difficult to get that cycle out. You really got to be strong. You really got to have a support system to start changing that cycle. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bonus one. Feeling overwhelmed. You know, I know that we want to lose weight. We want to start a business. We want to become better technicians. We want to do a bunch of things, but it just feels overwhelming. I don't have no money right now. I don't have a car right now. I don't have no place to stay right now. I'm just overwhelmed, you know. Well, you know, there's a lot of things you can do just to kind of get the momentum going. If you're overweight, hey, start working out for 10 minutes a day. Like, just say, I'm just gonna work out for 10 minutes a day. I'm gonna do some push-ups. I'm gonna do some burpees. I'm gonna do something just for 10 minutes. This minimum 10 minutes every day, and you're gonna start. That's doing something. That's taking massive action, because you're actually gonna do something, a small step to start to move you forward. If you want to open a business, okay, you know what? I'm gonna need $10,000 to open my business. Okay, start by saving $10 today. Just say, you know what? I'm gonna put it away. It's gonna be for my business. This is the first $10 for my business, and then next week another $10, or every day $10. You know, you have to make those sacrifices to get what you want. You know, think about how much money you spend on energy drinks, on eating out, on just going out to the club. Any wasteful subscriptions that you have, you know, eliminate that stuff. Say, you know what, this money's gonna go to my business, because in 3 years and 5 years I'm gonna open a business. So I'm taking the small step. Yeah, you know what, it's $20, but it's gonna build up. And before long, within a couple of months, you're gonna be like, man, you know what, I have a couple, you know, $100 or $1,000 already saved, and it just went by so fast. And it's gonna help you build that momentum, self-motivation, and you're gonna have that desire to hurry up and want to get to that goal faster. So don't get too overwhelmed. Just take action. That's the thing. If you want to open a business, you're like, man, I don't know nothing about business. My family doesn't know nothing about business. Get on YouTube, how to open a business. I think I have a video on how to open a business. So just kind of look at your resources. You know, one thing about a successful businessman is humiliation. Okay. I don't want to get too much off subject here. That's for another video. But humiliation is the ability for you to just ask for help. You know, hey, can you help me this? I want to open a business. How do I do this? How do I do this? I need help doing this. That's humiliation. But humiliation will open up so many doors for you, because they know you're not ego driven and you're not this cocky guy that thinks they know everything. They're going to want to help you. They're going to want to give you the best knowledge. They're going to want to lead you to the right people that's going to take you to the next level. So, hey man, thank y'all guys for watching. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves.